pretty much. Yeah. So what do you think about the younger kids? And that's one thing, like even especially in talking to like they take the Slutty Boys and Fat Trail. They all up, man. You know, the Northeast side, like you know about Team Northeast and stuff. Like, yeah. The idea is that they said like it ain't kind of what y'all saying is what it is, but the younger kids, it's like they shouldn't be exposed to it for real. Just like they feel like they shouldn't. Like in talking, for example, the Slutty Boys, we argue about the name all the time. It's like I can't even take y'all nowhere, especially in the schools. I wouldn't even talk to in the schools and stuff. But the name, just because of the name, the Slutty Boys, it's like I can't even get y'all through the door. I was like, well, can't y'all just say Strictly Business or any you know? SB, yeah, but you know, right?
They say their names like that.
Yeah. But the idea, like in talking to him, Gino, Gino, he's younger, so you ain't see him on there, but I mean, he's been through everything, man. Like, homicide with his father, his mom's, and group home. So anytime he gets out, he's all over the place. Like, so he ended up living with them basically, and they brought him in, and they kind of pretty much raised themselves. But we said, like, why the Slutty Boys? They say, look, like, we were conceived that way. It's like, you know, we are the product of slutty adults. And, you know, it's like everything we see is slutty. Anytime we see it's a dude, like when they were younger, and whether it be their mother, their aunt and stuff, it was slutty. When adults go out, whatever what y'all doing, it's like, it's all slutty, so we keeping it real. It's all slutty. I'm like, dang, that's how I thought about in relationships. I'm like, dang, man, it's wild, but it makes so much sense. It is for much slutty, so if we didn't want them to exist, we would have to change what we doing, like as adults, and that's, you know, that's a bigger conversation, but, you know, and talking to them for real, it's like, man, you know, y'all really some intelligent young brothers and sisters, but it's like, where does that come out at? And a lot of times, again, it's in coming up with moves that you think you ain't gonna get caught, and versus really applying yourself right here, saying that I can get to school, I can really do something and really change it. Like, you know, you can make 6 figures, have what you want, and now you have to worry about all of that. But where you know, how you presented with that, and how would you know that actually existed? So we're gonna watch another video, which is just kind of it's a promo, but it captures another side of the community, and it's kind of our promotion for our hometown promotional video. Javon. Right.
Ask me what you do for HCT.
Alright, I'm the director of the programs from High Hope.
Thank you very much.
I'm proud of the real code to have.
Okay, I appreciate everything y'all do for my son's son.
And shout out to the other side. So our challenge has been like, how do you go in when the other part, most people say the other part, cool, like it's cool to kill each other, like all the niggas at school, like how you go in and pull the different energy to say like, look, let's do something else. So most of the rap groups, like almost all of the area, they pretty much like they say they on board, man, we're gonna show them something else. But the thing is, like y'all, like it's like what are y'all buying to for real? Like we said, like y'all really going to college. What do you really like? How you really feel about it? And if you don't do it, what are the younger brothers and sisters gonna say? Like, if y'all the ones like they're supposed to be going, if y'all don't, how do they perceive that? What do you think? I mean, do y'all represent the hope for a community? Y'all, I mean, y'all see what's happening in DC right now. It's changing fast. Y'all see it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, do y'all represent that hope for us, man, or was it pretty much done? Mm-hmm. Like, so you just bought out pretty much.
Yeah,
I do, you know what I'm saying? I do what I'm supposed to do. I don't be trying to help. I mean, I help in a way, you know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to be helped, but there's nothing I can do. Everybody got their own mind. You know what I'm saying?
What about the younger, the like say like the 4th to 6th graders?
They just trying to do like relax.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Like when we say like, who's the king? Like, so it will be y'all for them. It's like, you know, really, and we see what's really cool. So when they decide to smoke some K2 or you know to try, like we had as young as 7 years old trying to roll K2 up in notebook paper just to try to do it. I mean, like all kinds of stuff, man. Like, and it was your age, and we talked to a group over at Anacostia, over that side. It's like, man, like, the guy, he thought he was telling me right. He said, man, smoke real weed, don't smoke that. It's like, dang, at least you try. I mean, I know you're trying to tell them something positive, but, I mean, it's no other words for them. Like, would y'all pull them aside? You feel like pull them aside, say, look, man, I mean, it's something else for you.
It ain't not, that's
What's that?
That's a waste of your time.
They're not gonna listen to their prayers. But y'all say they look up to y'all.
Who?
The young, like the 4th to 6th graders, or 4th to 7th graders, look up
I
to
know what I'm
y'all.
saying, like, they look up to us to the point, like, when we talking to them one-on-one, or when we
With it and not knowing, like you know, they would have the idea like it's something glamorous to be slutted out. They believe that, like, and so you know, these are young girls. I mean, y'all got little sisters. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Because that's how I think about it, man. Like, maybe my daughter or maybe my little sister, and what is actually going on, like, it's like predatory, you know what I mean? Like, do y'all feel for them?
For the Lord, I mean,
Y'all see it happening though, right? It ain't just me. I know y'all, yeah. So what?
but if you doing it, why would you care?
I mean, yeah.
In my opinion, I think most everybody, like in this generation and the generation behind us, they look for each other. They look for themselves in each other. Like for real. I think like they seek, like they're comfortable, like they come to ability with somebody else. And like people say they don't care about what people say about them and stuff, but like when they get around like a whole group, they be like, I don't care what we gonna do, but it don't matter or something like that. Like they still seeking like respect. They seeking like stuff. I mean, I guess they just want to feel accepted.
They want these stripes,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much.
Wow. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Friendship Collegiate Academy. At this time, we are now.
Something happened. Something just came on. Do that again. What you just did?
Does anybody know where the button is?
Nope. You need the pen to touch that button at the top.
No, it's an actual electronic.
Is there a remote on the over there somewhere?
Need a remote control.
Live right up the street, Southern Avenue, Ridge Road. And I'm just happy to be here with y'all for the presentation.
My name is Dan. I'm also a graduate student at Howard University. Started my internship today with Dr. Bruce Purnell here. He's got a lot of really great things to say. I hope you all walk away from this with a little extra knowledge.
It's okay to be different.
Yeah, absolutely. What about the rest of y'all? You've been liking it so far? You got some funny faces? Yeah?
Yes.
Better than a typical day of school, right? You know?
Yes.
Sitting around, breaking up a little bit at least.
It's Dr. Bruce Purnell. I'm a psychologist. I grew up here in the area of Benton Terrace, Central City. I grew up there. I went to Bowie State University on a basketball scholarship. Then I went to the University of Cincinnati on another, it was an American Psychological Association fellowship. I was one of 10 students in the entire country to get it. So they paid me to go to school. And in total, it was like $143,000 that I received to actually get my doctorate in psychology. I finished at University of Lagos in Nigeria. I finished there, and I've taught at University of Cincinnati, I've taught at University of Lagos, and I came back here to decide what I wanted to do with my life. And I felt that it was important to create something to get back because of what was going on in our communities, which is what we're going to talk about a little bit today. Like, how did this come to be? Like, why is it the way that it is? And as a psychologist, like, why do we think and feel the way that we do about things, and how does that result in our behavior? So that's really what we're gonna talk about today. I wrote a book. Actually, it's with the illustrator now. It's called The Eagle's Maze, and it deals with our identity and how it happens. But it's an adaptation of an African fable called The Chicken and the Eagle, and we're going to talk about that and just how it applies to our communities. But first, tell me about Friendship Collegiate. Like, what makes it special? Like, we've been talking all day. This day, y'all, we're knights. We heard that and said, what's that mean? It's like we're different. Like, and that's what we're so far. Like, we're different. What also came out is that there's also a lot of different things that we were like thinking about that people don't normally share. Like, again, as a psychologist, that's what I want to know. Like, do you really believe you're going to college? For real? That piece. And it's like, yeah, people want to say, yeah, but it's like, I don't know. Some people say, like, I'm really kind of tired of school, for real. And I don't know what's going to look like. These SATs are coming. I ain't really comfortable with those standardized tests, what it's going to mean, and just how you get there, for real. And we talk about stuff like that, like, and that's we call like real talk. Like, after everything else, we got to break down. We got to have real conversations with each other about how we make it out here. I talked about that. I don't know the number count. It's either 57 or 53. Like, I believe it's 57 RIP T-shirts, and that's the only ones that I could have had more. I probably could have had over 100. Well, I started to collect them. You know what I mean? Because so 57 young brothers that I've actually known are not here, and all that's left are these T-shirts, and they go like an L in the closet. And I'm like, man, like, that's a representation of something. It means something to me. Like, I'm like, what's going on now? Like, we had a couple years ago, because Simple City and 37 was beefing. We had a group that, and Simple City goes to Anacostia High School, so we had a whole group that, and really, they're not even going to school at all because of the beef. And one young man got killed, and it's like, really, it's a whole lot. I don't know if they got out now. It's a whole group in Simple City that went to jail for murder. And as I've been young, I'm like, is that what our community should be about? How does it get to that point that it's like that? And we talk to the seniors, a senior group of guys, they're like, it's just pretty much like it is. I'm like, dang, it was like that for me too. I remember seeing the corner truck like all the time in the mornings, and now, like, it's kind of like the time that the crack addicts was coming home. We was going to school, and they just coming in for the day. It's all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
My father, his name is Charles Penny. He used to be around the city. He used to coach the miniature football.
Yeah. What's his name?
Charles. And everybody call him Charlie.
Yeah. Everybody knows him. He's a good dude. He's a good dude. He's helped a lot of people. Yeah. So what do we do, and what's your role? We'll go to the story first, and then we're going to talk about that. The story, it starts off, like, and we learned the history of eagles, like, all the way back, like, 20,000 BC, or 20,000 years before Christ. And they said that the legend had it that eagles were God's angels in bird form, for real. They guarded the heavens, and the place they lived was like the Garden of Eden that no man had ever seen where they stayed. over thousands and thousands of years, they started to migrate out to the land. And at that point, interacting with humans and interaction was pretty cool. Like, they got along with everything, every species, because they were in charge. They could see for like 20 miles at a time. There's no line to an eagle, you see straight through. So anyway, the time to just stop, it was this one expedition. Like, these people came like from all over the world. They paid like $1 million to go on this hunting trip because they wanted to shoot these birds. And people were like, why? Like, they just wanted to kill them for sport. So they came in jeeps and they had sniper rifles, and the eagles would still, they paid no attention because they got along with humans. And they just started firing, and they was killing eagles. So some fell, some died. The eagles took a pledge there. Humans would never see them again. So this one female eagle was shot through both wings. Her name was Destiny. And her husband was King. They had 5 children already that were already all through hundreds of miles away. And because she couldn't fly anymore, King and her, they developed this whole community on the land. All the other species would come to them to learn like how to live, how to be leaders, and what have you, and everything was going well. King would come back every couple of weeks to make sure his family was doing okay and stuff. And he had other eagles, but then he would leave again. One time she had a surprise because she was having twins. So she was going to tell him one time that we're going to have twins, and she was waiting to tell him. So he came. He saw about 5 miles down these machines would tear down trees. It's a big development project. He didn't know what it was, but Destiny said, don't worry about it, there's no trees for everybody, sure we'll be fine. So he left. Machines came in, they kept coming in. It was like the Hurricane Katrina like that. I mean, it's like the levee came up. All the animals, some were being killed, trees were falling down, and the whole community was destroyed. Then this group of environmentalists made them stop because it says preservation. But at that time, you could see everything. There was nothing else hidden. So the environmentalists, this one group, they saw this wounded eagle. So they said that, really, let's take her back to the preservation so she'll be okay. So they went to get her, but she fought, she pecked, she bit, she scratched, and they couldn't do anything with her. So they went back, they hid, and shot her with a tranquilizer gun. And so it made her go to sleep, so they put her in a cage, but then they saw these 2 eggs. So they said, we don't do them right now, so we'll take them back. Back at the preservation, they had this big chicken farm. And it was a huge chicken farm because they had rescued these chickens that were being warehoused for eggs and stuff. So they're free. So they said, we just put these eagle eggs under this hen. So that hen was proud. She had these majestic eggs under her, and she felt like she was the thing in the hen house. And meanwhile, Destiny woke up, saw she didn't have her babies, and she went crazy. She tried to tear the cage up. She tried to get at them, and they didn't know what to do. They said maybe she has rabies or something, but if she didn't stop, they'd kill her. So she didn't stop. But she didn't know how to speak human talk. So she thought by showing the frustration and aggression, that would make them know something was wrong, and she would get her babies back. But instead, they killed her. So as that went on, later the eagles were hatched, and they were hatched on the chickens. They didn't know the difference, so they were living with a bunch of chickens. They did everything the chickens did. They ate worms. They waddled in the dirt and everything else. Even though they didn't look like the chickens, like they didn't understand, but the chickens kind of made fun of them and stuff. So they tried to do whatever they had to do to look as much like chickens as they could. So as it went on, they were like around teenage years for chickens and birds, right? So they had this what would be comparable to like a team party. They were dancing and stuff, and so they were having a great time. Meanwhile, like King had been searching for Destiny. He still didn't know Destiny has been killed. So he's searching for her all over the place, like miles each way. So finally, he looks down, he sees the strangest thing ever. He doesn't believe it. So he comes down a couple more miles. He looks, he's like, what is going on? So then he comes down close enough to really get a look. He said, wow, it's these 2 little eagles with all these chickens. He's like, you know what's going on? So he flew down. Because it's a giant bird, man. The wind from it was like a storm. The wings covered the sun, so it was like shade. They looked up, saw the giant bird, so they ran. They ran for the hen house. So he came down and separated the eagles from the hen house. It was like what are you doing? What are you doing these chickens? He's like, they know he's talking. He said, don't kill us, don't kill us, don't kill us. I'm not going to kill you. What are you doing here? The keepers, the people that run the place, they saw, that something was wrong, so they shot 2 shots in the air. He said, I'll be back. So he flew off. So now the eagles went back in their house, all the cackling was going on. It was like, it's like, what are y'all cackling? He said, why didn't y'all save us? Our life was in danger. Somebody said, you look a lot like that bird out there. Like, what's going on? So this elder hen who saw the whole thing happen said, tell them boys who they are. So the hen that sat on the egg was like, you shut up, you're just gonna cause trouble. Don't you? Said, tell them boys who they are. So they killed your mother, and you've been here, you're really an eagle, you're not a chicken. And he was like, shut up, shut up, shut up. But one eagle was like, I'm not an eagle, I'm a chicken, so leave me alone. But the other eagle was like, hold up, I want to know who I am. So the one eagle didn't do no more chicken stuff. No more worms, no more chicken dances, nothing else. He wouldn't do it anymore. The other chicken kept on doing the chicken life. So King came back, same thing. Wind, shade, he came back. And the one eagle, he stayed. He wouldn't know who he was. The other eagle ran behind his mother. What he thought was his mother was him. So he was like, what are you doing? He's like, I don't know. He said, well, one elder hen said that our mother was taken from the spot, a couple of miles down, and then she was killed, and I don't know anything else. So he yelled out, he's like, you're my son. He's like, you're my father. So it was the best thing ever. Like, he held him up to the sky. He's like, your name is Manifest. He said, Manifest because you're marked for greatness. And he told him all about the geometry of the skies, the history of the seas, the algebra of the lands, about how they're really kings. So he said, where's your brother? He was like, I don't know. So he was hiding behind the leg of it and said, don't let me go out there. So the elder hen actually had to kick him out there, and now he's out there trembling. He's like, come here. So he came in, he's like, don't kill me, don't kill me. I'm not gonna kill you. He said, look, you're an eagle, why you with these chickens? He said, fly. So he said, I can't fly. He said, look, your name is Hope. He said, Hope. And he held him up to the sky and said, your name is Hope. And he said that he confessed right there to Manifest that you never leave your brother. He said, until he gets it, we'll never be free. So you really understand what all that meant, but that's how they were going. So he said, fly. He jumped, he couldn't do it. He said, look, he started getting more and more disappointed. But then he yelled at him and said, fly! So he jumped up so high, right, that nobody could even see him. He's like, dang. So, but he still didn't know how to fly, but he was in the air, like miles in the air. Now he's free falling, so King had to fly back up and said, flap your wings. He said, I don't know how to flap my wings. He said, flap your wings, flap your wings. So finally he flaps his wings, he just glides, he glides, and he flies, he can't believe it. He's going all around, like he even goes to the hen house and chasing the chickens around, and they're running and stuff, and he's having a great time. So all the commotion, it signaled the keepers. So now they coming in jeeps and guns. This one keeper was an ex-hunter. I don't know why he was a keeper, but he was an ex-hunter, and he had killed animals before. He has a history of killing animals. There was another keeper that was an elder native, like Cherokee, and he had worked the lands and stuff. So one keeper actually pointed the gun right at King. It's like, if he doesn't leave, I'll have to kill him. The other elder keeper told him, he said, look, he's here for his children. Put the gun down. He said, no, I'm going to kill him. He said, put the gun down. He said, no, I'm going to kill him. So it's real tense. At that point, Hope jumps up again, the same way he did before, and he lunges at the keeper, and he's right in the nose, almost like breaks his nose, and the gun goes up. He said, help me to the other keepers to kill the eagle. And at that point, Manifest goes, and he goes through, and he hits his hand so hard that the beak goes all the way through his hand. It's like, what's going on? So they really understood, like at that point, the instincts just kicked in. It's like, they're flying, they're doing all kinds of stuff. So King grabs him, he looks at the elder Cherokee keeper. They just locked eyes like they actually knew each other. And they looked up and they just flew up. Long story short, Hope became like the head engineer for miles of the skies, and actually he was in charge of really the bringing in of all all the new Eagles, and Manifest had a majestic position too, and King sat on the throne. And we look at that and apply it to our community. And like say I were to take a group, say I were to take you and say like, what would happen if you were a group of Eagles and you were placed in a situation where you were in a chicken community? And what I mean by that, like what if you were in a situation that you were supposed to be all kinds of great things, like, you know, man, whatever you wanted to be, you were supposed to be, but instead, it was cool to be a stripper. Say that was cool. I mean, it was actually cool. It wasn't something you had to do. Say it was cool. It was cool to sell drugs. It was cool to have guns. It was cool to, you know, whatever that was cool. What happened? Who would be king to come down and tell you who you are and what you're supposed to be doing? Who would be that person? And that's the question for y'all. Like, one, what would happen if you were placed in that kind of situation? Like, what would happen if your ego was placed in a situation? Whereas, think about Hope and Manifest. They just were born. They don't know how it happened. There wasn't no fault of their own. They were there.
I wouldn't do nothing. Like, I just sit there, but if I don't have no other choice, then I have a problem to do what everybody else doing. Until somebody can come save me. It's possible.
If it was cool not to fly, would you fly? Say it was cool not to fly. Well, that was lame, to fly. Would you fly? Would you go around flying if it was lame? Anybody? What do you think?
For me,
Anybody? What do you think?
I mean, I would start off, looks like I'd probably start off walking, but then eventually I'd be like, stop that. After I realize that, why go around trying to take advantage of
What if when you fly, people look at you like, look at her. Look at her. Who she thinks she, man? Like, look, and you catch all that. Like, would you fly again?
I fly, because when you start flying to everybody else, they're going to say stuff about you, but then everybody else going to start flying. That's when they flying to you flying.
So why not the case then? Like, if that is the case, and like y'all know, like it's stuff out here you can actually become something, like something other than what's the stereotypes. Y'all know that. So why is it that, like you said, like we said flying, so why isn't that, you know, people like above y'all was just still doing a positive thing and y'all followed them? Like, why not? Why is it the other way? Because truthfully, y'all generation, I see more girls stripping than I do talking about college, for real. More girls talking about it. Like, that's their move. The dudes had their move. Like, what's their move? It's like, you know, how you gonna make some money? And so this is what I'm saying, like, in the community. So why isn't the other side, why am I seeing this? Like, what y'all do?
If you growing up and you don't have like a parent figure to tell you what to do, they're gonna go do what they see other people doing, like having guns, having people in the struggle, because they don't have nobody right there to tell them what not to do. So they just go do what they know and what they see.
Right. Isn't that what Hope and Manifest was doing? I mean, they grew with the chicken, so everything they know better. Like, yeah. So, how does that change? Like, how do y'all really get it? Like, y'all really say, like, look, for real, like, I really know that I can do something out here. I don't have to revert back to something else. Like, how do you get it? Where you get that from?
You gotta believe in yourself first.
Well, where you get that from? Like, how do you start believing in yourself? Where's that come from? What do you think? I know it's hard. I know, you know, it's really hard. Because that's a hard piece outside, because everybody wants you to conform. Because if you don't, the pressure is like to withstand what everybody's saying about you. But how do you get that? Like that people like I'm doing my way. Like I know the right thing to do. I don't care if you think it's cool or not. I'm going for it.
I think people don't do that because they just take an easy way out. So they don't get the chance to think about doing something.
And that's the easy. I guess it would be the easy way. Like, are drugs an escape when you're not like instead of becoming an escape. 'Cause I know people like actually they smoke. They when I come, they can't do anything unless they smoke first. Like that has to be that's a ritual every day. They got to smoke before they actually do anything, and then it becomes popping pills, and that becomes probably so they popping pills and smoking and stuff, and before you know it, like it ends up being like they caught up in their own web. How do y'all stay away from that? Like I mean,
I got family that do it, and I see how she reacts when she's sober and when she's not, and I don't like it. I just stay away from it. And I know a lot of people that smoke, pop pills, drink so much that when they sober, they go crazy and don't make it good. So I just stay away from it.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. What we gonna do? Like we're gonna let's see what I can do. We're gonna I want to show y'all like example of community. Okay. Let me get this thing. When we have you to complete and there's no deal. There's a permanent crease in your right and wrong stand. There's a midget standing tall and a giant beside him about to fall. Stand. They would try to make you crawl. And that being one side of it, how do you compete against that? Like, I mean, that's where everybody, like even like the 12th grade guys said pretty much like, you could talk to young people one-on-one, but outside of that, like the influence is so great that it ain't nothing you can do almost. So they stopped talking to them. We had even a 7-year-old boy trying to smoke K2 in notebook paper. Like that bad. Like
it's hard. I think it's not for the girls. It's not hard, but for the boys, it is because some of their friends do that. And they say they want to make something in life, but they're not really serious about it. They can go do what they see, which is that. But some graders now that been in school or whatever, they want to make something about their life. They want to keep moving forward instead of doing this. Because that's what you see every day you go outside. There's not one day you don't see that.
Yeah. That's what we're saying. Like, I mean, it's like for the last 20 years almost since crack, it's been that every day. It's like before crack, people were doing stuff, but it wasn't normal. Like, it's like after crack, everything's normal. Like, y'all, like, as a young person, you can get E-pills, you can get dippers, you can get coke, you can get whatever. Like, I mean, you right in the community, you don't gotta go nowhere. You can get guns. We got young sisters fighting. I mean, and gang like, you know what I mean? Like, it ain't used to be like that. Like, so how does it shift back? Like, if it didn't used to be like that, then we can go back to what it was before. When we used to, I mean, like, it might be some fights. We weren't trying to kill each other, though. Like, I mean, how do we get back to that point? Like, if y'all were the leaders of this change, what would you have to do as a group? How would you start? Yeah, I mean, everybody.
Going to the rest of the world would be looked upon as the worst communities and start there. And try to see how they react. And if their reaction is good, then I'm just go to different communities one by one and start building. Because obviously you can't just take on the whole DC at one time because nobody going to listen. You got to start small to be great.
Wow. Deep. So like when King was flying like and over, he looked down. And he saw, like, say that was the same situation, and y'all were the Eagles. And he flew, and he looked down and said, what the heck's going on? And he came down and said, what are you doing? You know who you are? He was like, no, I don't know. Where do you go from there? You know, what's the next step from there? And I know you had said earlier, it starts with knowing, like, you gotta love yourself. Is that what you said exactly? You gotta love yourself, you gotta feel good about yourself. What'd you say?
I said that you gotta,
You gotta believe in yourself.
Yeah,
Believe in yourself. So believe something. Okay, like, what's the next step? Like, you know, out to, cause you gotta walk into a community that is tell you everything else. That, you know, we learn what probably like second, third grade that we not alright. Like you say, little kids. Like Ryan tell you, like he teaches the kindergarten. The little kids, they'll do anything. They'll try anything. They don't know. Second, third grade, it ain't cool no more. Once they figure out it's not cool, then they figure they don't look good. Like there's something wrong with their appearance. There's something wrong with what they're doing. They start to learn that there's something wrong with them. Versus being empowered, learning that it's everything great about you. It's the opposite. So it's like, you know, where do you go? Like once you get that, like one, where do you get it from? You said like your, like we didn't really talk about that. Where do you get that from? To feel good about yourself piece. Where's that come from? Are y'all there? Or y'all some of y'all working with?
I think it's different from your home, your family first.
Yeah. Is that something that y'all have dealt with? Like I did, like you know, it's not really okay being me. So I gotta conform to be popular. I gotta conform to fit in versus being me. Do y'all feel? Have y'all went through something like that?
I feel like I could just be anybody, try anybody if I want to, but because I'm a girl, I feel weird because now my nose is very sensitive because I used to fight a lot. So I try to stay away from fighting and try to change it and become a better person.
Okay. Okay. And you came up with that on your own. Like, how'd you come up with that? Like, I mean, where did what?
It started 9th grade year when I was fighting in Minnesota, and I was fighting like two girls at the same time. My nose stopped bleeding. I had to go to the hospital, and it was still bleeding when I got to the hospital.
Right. Right.
So it was sprained.
Okay.
Did you whip him? Did you whip him?
Yeah. How about the rest of y'all? Like, what's been y'all struggle as far as just being able to feel good about yourself? What's that been like for y'all? Anybody share? I know it's hard. It's hard to share stuff like that.
My mother died on my birthday in 2006.
Oh, my condolences.
And then it was just hard. Like every time my birthday come around, I just think about her, and I go see my grandmother, and then I just find out my grandmother sick too. So I want to fight now because I don't got nothing else to take my anger on. But I'm not going to fight. I don't want to be looking ugly with all these scratches and scars on my face.
Is the fighting a way to get it out? Is that a way to get it? Like,
because
so.
when you punching them, you take all your anger out, and you just keep punching them and punching them. And then when you feel that you release all that, you can just get up and let them be.
Have you found other ways to get rid of the anger? Like, have you found other strategies?
Listen to music and cry.
And what?
Cry.
Oh.
I know a lot of dudes say they do drugs because of that. They say they do drugs because, one, you know, they feel they can relax, and without that, you know, it's like they feel violent. And, you know, a lot of people say that because at some point being violated, you won't be a victim no more. So you start taking the lead on it. So you won't be a victim. So you'll reach out and you'll let everybody know that you're not gonna be a victim. So you become like the abuser almost. You know what I mean? To a certain level. But we see a lot of that. Like, but how about the feeling good about yourself piece? Are y'all able to share, like, you know, what that's been like? Like, what point was it? How old was you when you first realized that you had to do different stuff? You couldn't just live the way you were living. Like you had to do certain things to be cool. Like, how old was you then? About 9. How about y'all? What's y'all? How old do you think you were? Can y'all think back that far?
16.
16? Yeah. Were you here? Like in DC? Is there? Yeah. And what was that like? Did you just decide, let me just try to fit in versus, like, because nobody's going to understand me anyway?
When I was 9, fighting was the thing. Everybody was fighting.
At 9? Yeah.
Right in South East.
Yeah.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Everybody was just fight. And I did my mother down, I didn't know what else to do, so I was just walking.
So there was nobody to talk to you about anything, like what you was feeling, what you was going through and stuff?
I had my dad, but since I was living with my mother, they were separated. So I wasn't used to talking to him. I used to talk to her, so when she died, I didn't talk to her.
Yeah. So was anything ever put in place, or you just had to deal with it best way you could? Yeah. Do y'all know people that have fell victim to homicides and stuff? Do y'all know people that are, yeah. Do you ever talk about stuff like that, like what's going on like that, like people actually dying out here and stuff? It's like,
I don't talk about it in the feelings anyway, so I just think about it to myself.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's something too that the guys were saying. The guys were saying that they feel like it's almost normal now. Like you just can't get caught loafing, and as a term, so it's like, you know, pretty much like whether they had to carry a gun themselves or whatever, it's like you can't get caught not paying attention. That's like, is that what community should feel like? So that's why the whole thing is about, can we change it? Like, because if not, like the next generation, it's a bunch of, y'all see how many little people's out there now? Oh man, like it's a bunch of
My
little
brother
people.
played for a football team, and his coach, he worked at a juvenile center. He was like a 9-year-old just got charged with a murder, and the 10-year-old just got charged with a gun charge.
Yeah.
9,
Right.
10.
Yeah.
He said he could see them so small walking around in orange jumpsuit.
Yeah.
I said, take me to that.
Yeah.
No, to talk to this, that's sad.
Yeah.
9 and 10, that's when you be fighting.
Yeah. How would y'all feel about bringing babies into the world?
Well, we do that toxicity.
Yeah, I mean, how you feel about that though? The way things are, like, would you feel funny about like bringing a baby into the world, into this? Do you feel like the community should be different to bring a child into it?
It is.
That's how I've always been in the house.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't even let them out.
outside.
Yeah.
My cousin, she had a daughter and she remembered at the wrong time. And now she, for 3 or 4, she be cussing at me like, I won't smack her.
Yeah.
Like, don't cuss at me. And her mother and her grandmother just right there and laugh. That's not cute. She going around telling the girls, they're Punani's think you're a B and all this.
Yeah.
It's not funny at all. That's why she don't come over my house. When she come over my house, I hit her. It's just, you don't say that. She go to school, so they going to jail.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I know we saw we look at like videos, and I know on World Star Hip Hop, they also some stuff like, man, like it was these 2 little girls arguing. The conversation. They knew what profanity was. They knew what the words were. They were like 4 or 5 years old, but they understood the context of everything they were saying as far as the profanity. So I'm like, how do you know? Like, you know, but they're around it. So that's what we're gonna show you. It's one thing that we heavy in the arts, music. We do plays and stuff like that. So we get young people engaged that way, and we write our own. We actually write our own production. And this is one you'll see at the beginning that we had Little Red Riding Hood, adaptation of Little Red Riding Hood, but from a middle school girl standpoint. And we use it was through conversations with the Slutty Boys, because I want to know why. I can't even take y'all in schools because of the name, but they explain, like, you know, that why they call themselves the Slutty Boys, like because they felt they were conceived. They felt they were conceived that way. It's like everything they know about adults and what adults do, as far as sex is concerned, relationships, is slutty. It's like when dudes at the club, that's slutty. It's like, look, you know, when they were young and mommy's boyfriends and stuff, it was all slutty. It's like, we're gonna keep it real. Like, so we the slutty boys. We were actually, that's who we were. And they say, so we're a reflection of adult behavior. So when I started saying, like, wow, it's so deep, but at least you can explain it. Because I was like, change the name to Strictly Business, but sometimes they just say SB. So nobody will know, like, it's that, but still, I'm like, Dad, you gotta be the Slutty Boys. Because I want to bring them, so I want them to talk to y'all, so you really see where they coming from and stuff. But we do plays, like, and the last thing was literary writing in the hood, which was real cool because I told Dude Baby he was the wolf. I said, you the wolf? He said, well, I gotta be the wolf. But I was like, cause I was like, middle school girls need to know that you the wolf. So from that perspective, as they look at the world, they can't look at you like you an ally, because really we know what you're trying to do. So they need to know, like, you know, who you are, like, and he understood. So that's what Literary Ride in the Hood was about. And all of them was in it, like, and you know, they went through the, I wish I had time to show it, but that's part of this promo. You'll see when they did the news report on it.